Hardy, Ted, Arcand, and your calls. We go to Brian and Pepperell. Brian, what's going on?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Good to see you.
What's
hey,
up?
Hardy. I saw you at the U.S. Open at that par 3 there.
Oh, yeah.
But
number 11?
Yeah, yep. Sorry, number 11. You're right. Sorry, yep. Hey, I wanted to get – have you guys heard of something called the DSM-4 or DSM-5? It's diagnosing mental disorders. And my disorder, my kind of case study, Belichick, is arrogance. And I want to get Teddy's take on this. Two things, guys. My sense is this. His arrogance has just thwarted the last 2 years of this development of the team. Instead of casting a net out, it's like Indeed, right? Throwing a big net out to capture the best resume. He's saying, the hell with that. I'm going to keep my own people. You know how you have an uncle, a grandfather that sees the world more narrow as they get older? I know it's a personality bent, but I do think that's affecting the team in that kind of perspective that he has. That's number one. And number two, Teddy, on this one, is when will the Kraft step in? When they see enough of this canvas, I'm wondering if you can kind of talk about those 2 points, guys. Thank you.
I would say just number one on the Bill Belichick and the arrogance thing. You know, that gets brought up a lot, is hubris, is arrogance. Yeah. You know, how much is that? Is that going to be his tragic downfall? Maybe that factors in, but I think you can simplify it and say he was wrong on Tom Brady. They should have given Tom Brady the 2-year extension that he wanted. They should have given them the money. They should have figured out a way to keep him there. They should have patched things up. And I'm not saying that they win the Super Bowl that very next year like Brady did down in Tampa, because he didn't have the weapons. But in terms of where the team would be right now, you'd be better off with Tom Brady still as your quarterback. And everything that's happened since then, yeah, it could be arrogance. It could be this. It could be that. It could also be a way of Bill just having to – he's put himself in this position now, and he's like, now I got to figure it out with – and I got to think outside the box, because I got rid of the best thing this team had going for it, outside of myself, of course, in Tom Brady. Let him go, and now we're left with this.
Okay, so just the Tom Brady thing, letting Tom Brady go. You don't think that the crux of that was arrogance? You don't think – because Bill – you don't think that was, it was arrogance is the reason that Tom Brady's not here anymore?
Yeah, but if the voice of God came down to Bill Belichick and said, Tom Brady is going to play at a high level for 4 more years and be worth every penny of a 2-year, $50 million contract, you think Bill wouldn't say, geez, I really thought he was done. You know what? Okay, I'll sign him after all. I don't think he's that arrogant. If he knew that Tom was going to be playing at this level right now, you don't think he would have kept him?
Okay. Look, I think I don't know if he thought he would play at the level he was playing at now, but I feel like he could have he was playing well enough to help his team still win Super Bowls, and he didn't feel like he wanted to pay that guy. That's me. It was arrogance. The reason Tom Brady's not here is I think Bill still thought Tom had something left. He just didn't want to pay him. He wanted to move on from Tom. He wanted to break off from Tom and prove that he can win without Tom. I think it's not necessarily he felt like he couldn't play anymore. It's like, I want to coach without Tom Brady as my quarterback.
Okay, so
more than anything at this point in my career.
So if the Krafts come to that decision and they're like, Bill's just doing this thing for his own personal joy right here to prove himself, and the team ends up going like Joe told me this morning, 6-11, and they followed up next year, let's say with they're 7-10, and they missed the playoff. Is he gone? Is he done?
I think it should be seriously considered. Because he's made this bed. I mean, what has happened so far where it's like Bill had no control over? He's had control over Tom Brady staying here, Josh McDaniels staying here, who the offensive line coach is, who the offensive coordinator is, if there's the new system being put into place. It's all Bill. So he's the only. Whose fault else's fault is it? It's his. And if he falls on his face, he chose this personnel and this front office, and then he fails with it, then he should be held accountable.
I just give Bill a credit. It sounds like a weird way of saying it. I give him a little credit because as a football decision, as opposed to just a ego decision to let Tom Brady go.
Oh, you're wrong. That was ego, baby. That was ego. Come on. Bill's got the
He was
massive
right.
ego.
Either way, he was wrong to do it.
Yeah, right.
He's wrong, but he's in some
I blame
ways,
it on his ego.
In some ways, he's less wrong if he did it because he thought he was doing what was in the best interest of the football team.
Yeah.
If he did it just to serve his own personal ego interest, that's like wrong ethically, morally, business-wise, everything.
But you just said it. You think Bill Belichick makes like he says, every decision that's best for the team? Do you think every decision he makes is truly, in his mind, the best decision for the football team?
Well, that's what he says.
That's what he says. If you believe that, again, I got some Rolexes right here I want to sell you, man. They're under the table in the back of my car.
I saw some fake Breitlings while I was on vacation. Yeah. I almost bought one. The guy wanted $70 for it, though. I'm like, dude, I'll give you 20. And he was insulted.
It says Brightlon? Is it spelled right?
No, it's spelled
Brightlon?
right and everything.
Okay.
Derek in Providence. What do you got, Derek?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Happy Friday.
What's up?
Hey, this take might come off as wishful thinking, but I'm just trying to stay positive about the outlook of the offense this year. It looks like Mac Jones is going to take a step back this year with a new coordinator. But Ted was part of the 0-2 team after you guys won the first Super Bowl. Tom Brady struggled a lot in that year. That was his second year as a starter. I'm not trying to compare Mac to Tom, because that's a very hard comparison. But, that one tough year Tom had, I'd like to believe that struggle year really propelled him forward, and then you guys won the next two Super Bowls after that. Not saying Mac will do that, but even if Mac has a bad year this year, the narrative is, it could ruin him as a quarterback. And he has a much tougher coaching situation. We know that. But if he has a down year, he could use that to spin it and try to light a fuel to be better and take a step forward year 3 and into the future of his career. And I'll hang up and let you guys go on.
Thanks, dear. Thank you, Derek. Listen, I think that's one of the reasons why you and I, Ted, and Christian, maybe you too, are hesitant to say that this could ruin Mac Jones. A year like this with, guys coaching a system that they don't fully understand, a system he doesn't fully understand. You take away the progression, you take a step back, it could ruin him. No. He could take a step back without being ruined.
Yes. Yeah.
There's two different things.
It's not like he mastered the offense last year. That's another thing people say about Mac Jones. Like, he perfected the offense and he knew everything that was going on. He didn't really get a chance to even, win games at the end. They'd kick away or, not give him the ball. They didn't trust him at all. And so he was good for a rookie, I think. Everybody sort of agreed. It was a pretty good season for a rookie. It wasn't some amazing, oh, my God, this kid's a phenom. He's this, prodigy at quarterback and, get out of his way and just let him do his thing. I understand, additional coaching and maybe even throwing some wrinkles in. It just sort of seems like he's not picking it up. It sort of seems like it's not really happening, and he spent most of this camp frustrated, whereas last year he spent the whole camp with his head held high because he was beating out Cam Newton. That's like two very different experiences in your first 2 years.
And I will say this. You just said he's not picking it up, and I don't know. He might be struggling with picking it up, but I think what he's probably more frustrated than anything is that everyone else isn't picking it up. He might have it picked up, but the offensive linemen aren't getting it picked up. The wide receivers aren't getting it picked up. The coaches aren't getting it picked up. I think that's is part of his frustration as well.